For the latest top tips, reviews and advice, please subscribe below.
Hello and welcome to Attwoolls Outdoors with me, Mike. Today I'm going to give you guys a bit of review on a product from Vango. So this here is the Vango Tahiti 850XL 2. So Tahiti name is something that was launched in 2019 and carries on in 2020 with a few major differences. One, of course, being the colour. So it's now a really nice sort of cloud grey, and I think actually to its hands it looks quite a nice smart. And as you can see here, one of the main kind of standout points of the Tahiti was that extra bedroom to make it an 8-berth. It's a way of having the main sort of living area and sleeping 8 without sacrificing your internal sort of main living area, which a lot of people absolutely adored. One question certainly was a big ask last year was, will it fit on a pitch? To which it does honestly depend on where you go. Certain campsites say yes, certain campsites say no. But generally, if you actually look in terms of the guiding point, if you were to have this out, it's only the best part of, you can bring this down lower, maybe a metre wider than what the normal Tahiti would actually be, so the normal Anatara would be. So that's where it's sort of fundamental apart. I have also heard from people who actually have kind of, if they're not using that extra part, have kind of rolled it away to the best durability or peg it down. So admittedly, it's not what it's designed for, but it's certainly feedback we've had from customers in its first year in the market. The Tahiti's been a real big hit, mainly because, not only because of the pod, but the internal space you get, as well as the value you get for the actual model itself. So using Vango's sort of really strong fabric, it's basically their exclusive fabric, sensible exclusive with the colour lock. So it's got like an anti-fade inhibitor in it to try and make it look sharper for longer and last that little bit longer as well. Generally, you've got not really compromised on sort of spec, so you've got a really nice sort of webbing straps all the way throughout the tent. So again, it reinforces sort of a strong sturdiness. When you've also got this also little canopy over the rain-safe door, which is very unique to the actual Vango range itself. So it allows you to have ventilation in the canopy area. And it doesn't matter if it's trucking down with rain, you know, it's going to literally bead off and go where you need it to go. The joys of this particular model as well, in terms of the Anatara range, the one that sits above this, Ventalis and so forth, is their unique functional multi-door at the front. So your best part of 16 different positions on the front door you can choose. So you can either have it sort of a quarter open, halfway open, ends in, just the main body of it. So there's lots of different functionality in that front door as well. And as you can see from what we got pitched here, you've got now the front canopy parts. So there's an optional extras which are, you can predate back as well. So you've got the sun canopy, they then do a sort of a front extension, which is sort of an open and closed thing with an inflatable tube on it, and also the full-on front awning with a sealed door at the front. So there's quite a number of different models to choose for, and you can chop and change depending on your own needs. So there's more flexibility there as well. An aluminium pole merely just copies sort of the rain-safe canopy door on the side, so it gives you something that's lightweight but still very structurally strong. And yet again, what you've got is Vango's villa construction. So villa construction gives you more internal headroom height, so it makes it feel not essentially, it's a way of making it feel bigger without making the footprint actually bigger. So we're going to check that in a second as we walk on the inside. A new update as well for the 2020 season is the window panels are actually larger. They've been made a bit bigger by stitching it into the same sort of seam. So again, better vision, more clearer vision out through there, and actually the grade of the fabric they've used in the windows is slightly a bit thicker. You're going to make it that extra bit more durable. But generally, also things like low level ventilation helps certainly with a polyester tent to make it a bit nicer. But we'll talk of a few more features about unique stuff for the Tahiti as we have a look on the inside. So let's see what it's got to offer. So now in Tahiti, you can kind of get a bit more of a grasp of certainly the additional size you've got in here, but also the amount of space. You know, it's not very often you have something that's sort of this kind of footprint, but offers so much interior headroom throughout the whole tent, especially when, you know, someone like my sort of 6'2" height. Generally, you've got 3 zones, obviously the awning area, the main living area, and then the bedroom area, which you can see at the back is nice and dark, which is a really main key feature for the 2020 season. So we'll work our way from the front of the tent and work our way back, talking through features as we go. So The multifunctional door, which you can't see on the outside, was really brilliant because you've got so many different options you can do, and check out our video on that in particular. Moving on into here, the rain-safe canopy door with the mesh, I think, allows plenty of airflow throughout it. A ground sheet supplied for the front awning area, so you can get that kind of bathtub kind of feel. So it's not a bathtub, but a sewn-in feel with the flap and an overlap over the top. Alternatively, you get the functionality that you can also remove it, like we have here. So if it's chucking down with rain, we can still have the open front open, and it rains, it's going to go straight into the ground. Same if you're cooking in sort of area, you know, anything you spill, it's just seeping into the ground rather than sort of harming your ground sheet as such. You could, in theory, fold it in half, use that side as dry and that side as wet if you want to, but you know, it's the world's yours, you can kind of do what you want with it really. Moving into sort of living area, the height is really coming down to the way the villa construction's done. So a very much more vertical upright, and then it curves into the top. So that allows someone like myself, being 6'2", to stand right in the corner, right near the window panel, and it makes it feel like an overall bigger tent. It's actually a sort of a slightly smaller footprint size than you would expect in comparison to models like sort of Studlands or Stone Lakes of this world. Whereas this, you know, is only 440, based on the same width as a Vango Rivendell in the past. Also like an illusion. So it's the same width, it's just it feels a hell of a lot bigger because of that, you know, supersized beams and then villa construction. Curtains throughout the whole tent are zip up, so you've got the versatility that you can have it sort of kind of halfway or fully up, if you will. So you get the benefit of choosing, you know, where you want it to be. And again, you've just got a little storage pocket beneath it, which is simply just a nice little toggle divider. Just a little toggle there to keep it kind of that bait in its own little pocket. So nice and simple, and works really well. Obviously, ventilation beneath the wind to help with circulation of air, and that's the main thing with something like a polyester tent is ventilation is very, very key. You want to have a good airflow throughout a tent, help fight condensation, because air condensation is a real bugbear currently in sort of tents with ceiling, ground sheets and air, just because there's not enough airflow, and also the condensation helping rising the pressure of the beams. They're very waterproof, but means they're also not breathable. So moving on into the divisional door between the awning and then the canopy, sort of the main living area, can be completely zipped back. You've got a mesh point in here as well. It again helps that sort of key message of flowing airflow through it. A curtain as well to get the privacy when you want to. But for argument's sake, let's just zip that back nice and neatly. So your nice top zip and the zip kind of beneath it here. Let's watch that little clip sliding away. It is. Let's do it from the inside, a bit easier that way. So the joys of this bottom zip, because it comes completely flat, gives you the benefit that can roll away, toggle to some points here, so that flap can go completely down. It means it flows really nicely from the sort of canopy area all the way through to living area. And now that's out, you can kind of get a bit more of an idea about the sheer amount of space you've got inside the tent. An optional extra bedroom can go into living area in this section here, which will actually make it sort of a 10 berth, which gives you certainly flexibility that bolt that sort of fixed on extra 2 berth in is a great area to use for storage. Alternatively, you know, to sleep someone in there, or if you've got kids and they want their own space away from you, that's a great idea. If they've got guests to stay, then that's when you can utilize that extra bedroom, which would be an optional extra. Yet again, for me, in the daytime, take it down, whack all the stuff in there, out the way, utilize that sort of quarter of your living space itself. You've got opposite it nice mesh doors there to help with circulation of air, but of course darker bedrooms. And when I mean darker, it's Vango's midnight bedrooms, so it really does help to make it seem really dark. It's not completely blackout, which actually I think, to be fair, is probably a benefit, because it means that you can still find the pulley, and it's not too dark for kids. But if it's a little bit dark on the lights for kids, what you can also do is there's a vent mesh panel at the top here, so you can undo that, allow a little bit of light in. But it's one of those things that when you get inside of it, it ticks that box, and it's something we've been asked for an awful lot throughout the last season, is darker bedrooms, and you know, it really does tick a massive box. Vango obviously have your own unique sort of features built into purely to theirs. So not only things like the airspeed valve, which is a really good fitting for inflating and deflating. And as you can see from our own pitching video, you can see this go up and down within 12 minutes, which is impressive for this sort of size, especially when it's me on my own. You've got TBS, which is sort of a tension band system, which adds a bit more agility to the model and just helps to give a bit more support. Like I said, 95% of people don't probably ever use it, let alone know it's there. So it's an extra thing you can add on if you get a bit of wind. It just helps to give a bit more structure and brace the tent as and when it needs it. You've also got things like storage pockets built into the little palmet that goes around the actual tent to keep it all nice and neat. And even in the inner bedrooms, you've got storage pockets again for things like keys or torches, again, so it's easy, accessible places to find your bits and bobs when you want to. You've got a SkyTrack system as well, which allows you to have hanging points of lanterns or accessories to more than happily go onto that. Joys of it means that it's versatility. You can put things where you want it to, even put sort of 2 points across each other, have a bit of cord to hang towels and dry things. So it creates additional storage area. There are sort of like little pockets you can buy to go down there. Yet again, storage pockets quite happily, but we've got a separate video, as you would imagine, for that as well, if you want to check out a few of the optional extras you can look at, or in fact the SkyTrack system and how it works. You've also got down to cable entry points. So you've got mains points to put the cable through here rather than leaving the door open every single time. You've got one on the left, one on the right behind the bedroom down here, and then another one sort of through the slit of the bottom zip. So it means that you've got great versatility. It doesn't matter where the mains power come in, you can happily accommodate it as well. But overall, really impressive model. Main sort of features and improvements, obviously, first and foremost is the colour, the ability to add extras on the front of it, which also you can backdate it for previous TT or Anatara models if need be. Bigger windows, darker bedrooms, darker accessory bedrooms, slightly thicker windows throughout the model to help it get a bit more clarity and a bit more vision through it and durability, as you would imagine. You've also got a bit more reinforced front door, which I think is a great little bit more rugged sort of improvement as well. But generally, I think it's a model I think will be very popular, mainly because that extra bedroom. There's not many models on the market that offer that extra space to use as storage or sleeping. And maybe if you like the idea of that, there's a new model from Vango called the Ventalis, which is the same kind of design, same kind of layout, same kind of spacing, ish, not far away, but more of a smaller extra sort of storage area on the side. So check out our own video on that. It's certainly worth doing. But impressive model for 2020, and certainly one to watch out for and potentially look at in our own showroom here at Attwoolls. So that is our little video review from Attwoolls for the Tahiti 850 XL.